Okay, calling all designing women, we are ready for our Facebook Live. And so if you are here, or maybe you're making your way, and so I'm just gonna kind of do some catching up as I'm waiting for women to come into the chat. And of course, as I always say, if you cannot make it live on the chat, it really is okay. You will find this in your membership portal, and then that way you can look at it as often as you like, whenever you like. And so I hope that everyone has had a great day. I know for me, it's been a pretty good day. I have been doing some forecasting actually for 2018, starting to work on the Remarkable Woman Conference, woohoo, which is going to be in November. I'm having to make some changes with the date. I'll keep everyone abreast of when that actually is going to take place in November. So the goal was to do it on the first weekend. Looks like we may have to go back to the second week of November, or even the last week of October. So at any rate, I'll keep everyone posted, and you will know about it soon enough. I mean, not soon enough. You'll know about it early enough so that you can go ahead and reserve your space um, for 2017 Remarkable Woman Conference. So, if you had to describe your day in one word, what word would you use? I think for me, I would use the word sluggish. Because I felt that way pretty much most of the day. And I didn't have a whole lot of energy, and I had to, press through, and I'm glad that I did. But of course, I did manage to take my little rest break, which I'm a big fan of. I'm a real advocate. I believe in walking my talk, and so that was really helpful. I just set my timer for 30 minutes and just um, got real snug and in one of my throws and just closed my eyes. And it was good because it really did a wonderful job of recharging me. So, well, it looks like I am actually going to be solo tonight. So I am hoping that you will at least talk to me after I finish this live broadcast, that you'll go in and you'll listen to it and you'll make comments, you'll ask questions, you will give some feedback. This time I'm actually on my computer and I'm actually recording from the computer because the good thing is I can actually see the chat box. And also I don't have to worry about the camera angle being um, portrait when it's supposed to be landscape. And I think my problem is I'm working with an Android phone now as opposed to my iPhone. I kicked that iPhone to the curb and I'm actually pretty happy. But here's the thing I was thinking. I came across this story, and it's a story of I think it was the former Senator Dwight Morrow, and he was searching the railroad desperately looking for his train ticket. Now he was already about to board the train, headed for New York City because he was very familiar, he had a very familiar face, he commonly caught that train. The conductor said to him, the porter said to him, you know, Senator, don't worry about it. We know who you are, and all you need to do is just mail your ticket back to us. And he looked at him and he had this pretty perplexed look on his face, and he said, that's really not the problem. Thank you for, that expression of for being very gracious, but that's not the problem. The problem is without my ticket, I don't know my destination. Without my ticket, I don't know where I'm going. So designing women, here's what I realize is that for us, as we are trying to increase our courage and go bold or go home, you know, there are things I think God gives us, tools that He gives us to help us grow in this whole area of having confidence. And one golden ticket for us that I think we oftentimes lose sight of is having goals. Setting goals. So when we started this program, we started out talking about setting goals, and we started talking about it from the perspective of the need to have very clear goals. Now, I came up with an acronym that's very similar to the SMART goals, but it's the SMART goals. So I decided I would drag it out because of us having a Southern drawl. But here's the reality is that, especially when we encounter setbacks in our life, or we get our lives off track and we're trying to get back on track, and we're trying to take our lives back, and we're trying to create this comeback so that we can live our absolute best life every single day. The remarkable life is not this perfect life. It's not a life that is where everything lines up, because life comes at you. One of the things that's been really great for me is it's been the fortitude that I have chosen to have in the midst of life coming at me, because I have so many different spheres of influence in my life, and different things that we are involved in, and different needs in my family. Life comes at me sometimes pretty hard, and what I realize is, if I'm going to live this life of abundance, if I'm going to wear the different hats that I feel like God has called me to wear, but I think that that's not just true of me, that's true of you all as well. So I liken the remarkable woman really to the Proverbs 31 woman, because she wore so many different hats, and she yet still made remarkable things happen, regardless of where she was and what she was doing. But life comes at us. And one of the best ways for us to be able to push beyond our breaking point and continue to show up in spite of the hardship, in spite of the pain, in spite of the challenges, in spite of the problems, that we show up very rested in Him. And as a result of being rested in Him, then God in His presence really makes life worth living. And yet we are called to be good stewards. We were called to be really good stewards over our life. We're called to be good stewards over our families, good stewards over our businesses, good stewards over our careers, good stewards over our ministries. And so one of the best ways for us to really leverage, one of the best ways for us to activate our lives is by having some really clear goals. Now, your goals don't have to be elaborate. And they don't have to be, this is not about overthinking it or making it more complicated. Just do it. In the words of Nike, just do it. Just get it done. And so by setting our goals, then we are able to make great things happen. So here's what I realize. Even when I look at how we show up, even in our own private group, I realize that the reason it's difficult for most of us to even join the group or participate in the group is because we are living our lives in haste. We're not living this rested life, and we're not living, we're living life really by flying by the seat of our pants. And so I'm just suggesting that, here's a tool. Here's something that we can use that's going to help us stay the course, so that even if life gets off track, we can get back on track. So by having these goals, then we can steer our lives in the power of the Holy Spirit back in the right direction. And so when we make the time to set our goals and create these actionable steps, then we can't help but feel confident. You can't help but feel overjoyed when you see the things that you accomplish. And I will tell you, I've gotten to a place, many of you all can relate to this. If you've had a lot of birthdays, then you can relate to this. I'm in a place now, I don't have to have 10 goals for that day. Sometimes it's just enough for me to have 3 goals. Sometimes I can only manage one goal really well, especially if it's a big project that I'm working on. I can only manage one goal. I'm more likely to procrastinate if I have too many goals. So here's what I want us to do. Just cut yourself some slack. Everybody breathe in, release. We're going to learn to relax. You're going to find a check sheet. I want to encourage you to use it. I think I'm going to go ahead and put it in the Facebook group. I want to encourage you to use it. And tomorrow, let's start tomorrow. And why don't you list your goals and then begin to prioritize them? And then as you get smart and you write those goals down, then you're going to go back to your first course where you actually have the worksheet. And you're going to go there and you will find, and I think I may actually put, there's another download that is your SMART goal worksheet, and it breaks it all down. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But again, I just want to resource you. I just want to encourage you. I just want to share with you some things that I share that have worked for me, but things that I also share with clients, just so that we can make remarkable things happen, and we could do it with grace and ease. So the thing to remember is, as you are setting your goals, then you want to make sure that you are very specific about your goals. And the more specific you are, the greater the likelihood that you will be able to accomplish them. As opposed to being vague or having some arbitrary number. Let's say if you were saying, I want to increase my bank account. I want to increase how much money I save. And but be very specific. How much money do you want to have in the bank? Or be specific and say what you are saving your money for, because it's even better when you have a motivation. It's even better when there's meaning attached to it. It's even better when there's an objective to it. So you are doing this because of what? What are you trying to accomplish? What remarkable thing are you trying to make happen? And especially as you are saying, I'm taking my life back, I'm taking my finances back, and I'm getting all of this under control. So you want to be very specific. And then you also want to think, okay, so as I'm being very specific about this, then you want to make sure that you actually have some actionable steps, that you take some time and you decide, okay, so here's what I want to accomplish, and here's the reason why I want to accomplish. And so regardless of the area that you're focusing on, when it comes to your goal, just always know that that's one of the things that you want to do. But you also want to make sure that you have is actionable. So you have some action steps. So what are the steps to making this happen? Accountability. Who's going to hold you accountable? Who's going to pray with you? Who's going to ask you questions and help you stay on course? But you also want to make sure that it is realistic. You also want to make sure that as you are, coming up with these goals, that you reward yourself. So when you accomplish them, then celebrate. But before you even set the goal, as you're setting the goal, decide what are you going to do to reward yourself once you accomplish this goal. And then you want to make sure it's time sensitive. So time stamp it. So decide, okay, I want to accomplish this goal by when? And so as you do that, then you'll get a chance to see the end results. But not only that, but you will get a chance to see your confidence really begin to soar. Because there's nothing like being able to look back and see that you have been a good steward. So There's a verse in Proverbs, well, lots of great verses, but in Proverbs 25:6, um, well, 21:6, is it 21? 21:5. So it basically talks about how when we are diligent, and that's what we are to be as remarkable women, that we are to live our lives with this sense of diligence. And that word diligence means that we are being sharp, that we are being decisive, that we are making good, clear decisions. The other night in the on the training video, I talked about um, the importance of making sure that as you are being the CEO of your life, that you're taking control of your life, you're taking control of your business, you are running that, and that you are seeing yourself as the one who is in charge, that you are the CEO of Me Incorporated. But as we are diligent and we're living our lives with this sense of focus, this of then we will live a life that's very profitable, a life of abundance. But we get a chance to decide what that needs to look like. So what is abundant to one person may not be abundant to the next person. What makes one person feel profitable may not make the other person feel like they are profitable. But that's why you're learning to live your life by design and not default. And it's your life. You get to decide what that needs to look like. Nobody else has to make that decision for you. So, as remarkable women who are pushing beyond our breaking point, learning to rest in Him when the challenges come, when adversity comes, when life wants to derail you, then you are able to rest in Him and still show up powerfully as a diligent, sharp thinking woman who makes things happen that are worth the remark, that are profitable. The Bible says, is it lawful? It may be lawful, but is it profitable? So it may be lawful for us to live our lives in haste. But the question is it profitable? It may be lawful for us to live our lives without any clear cut goals. But the question is it profitable? It may be lawful for us to feel uncertain and not be able to see the value that God has put in us, but it may not be profitable. So again, it's your turn. What are you going to do? Starting tomorrow, what will you do to show up more powerfully, to continue to take your life back, to be in control of your life and make remarkable things happen? Do you have your ticket? Do you know where you're going? Now, if I could sing, I would sing Diana Ross's song. Do you know where you're going to? Do you like the things that life is showing you? Do you know? Well, I think that if you have your goals, then you have a better idea of where life is taking you. You have a better idea, and you're more likely to enjoy the things that life is showing you. So make sure that you have your ticket. Show up more powerfully. Watch your confidence and the confidence of others, the confidence that others have in you, watch that increase. And watch people begin to see that you truly are the remarkable woman, that you have been branded that way. You've been marked that way. So again, I hope that this has inspired you. I hope that this has empowered you. I hope that you have connected with it and you're ready to embody it so that you can activate your life and show up and make great things happen, regardless of what comes your way. Don't live by default. Live your life by design and not default, and watch great and remarkable things happen. I'll see you next time.